What's up guys, my name is Stoody. I'd like to welcome you all back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be doing my AFL Round 2 tips for the 2025 AFL season. Before we get into this week's tips, let's go ahead and see how it went last week. So last week I got 8 out of 9 correct tips, which now moves me up to 10 tips for the 2025 AFL season in total. Let's see what ones I got correct and the ones I got incorrect. So I tipped Hawthorn to rob Essendon. I tipped Fremantle to defeat Geelong. That tip does count as correct because that game was rigged. I tipped Sydney to defeat Brisbane. That game also counts as a correct tip because Sydney was severely robbed in that game. I tipped the Western Bulldogs to defeat North Melbourne. I tipped Collingwood to defeat Port Adelaide. I tipped Adelaide to defeat St Kilda. I tipped GWS to defeat Melbourne. And I tipped Gold Coast to defeat West Coast, meaning the only one I got incorrect is that I tipped Carlton to defeat Richmond. Go the Tigers! Now I can't show you the leaderboard for the tipping competition because the internet isn't fucking working, so we'll have to do that another day. Let's go ahead and do this week's tips. So another stupid Thursday night game that no one can fucking watch. We have Carlton taking on Hawthorn at the MCG. I'm going to tipping Hawthorn in this match by 17 points. Carlton completely embarrassed themselves last Thursday night at the MCG. I was there to witness it. Carlton choked a 41-point lead against Richmond while Carlton were being severely protected by the umpires and the match fixing, especially the number 10 umpire. Plenty of Richmond supporters wanted to run onto the field and belt the shit out of the number 10 umpire, and they were even asking the players to do it as well, offering to pay their fines and that sort of thing. So that's how severely protected Carlton were getting. And they still lost. They still choked a 41-point lead. So I just can't see how they can defeat Hawthorn, who are also a very mediocre club. Hawthorn will get the win for that reason. They're just a slightly better mediocre club, really. So moving on to Friday night, we have the Western Bulldogs taking on Collingwood at the MCG. So the Western Bulldogs have been completely fucked over a home game. Why the fuck's the game at the MCG when it's the Western Bulldogs home game? It's complete and utter bullshit. So I'm going to win Collingwood in this one by 32 points. It looks like the umpires are probably going to be protecting Collingwood in this one due to the fact the Western Bulldogs have been robbed a home game. Collingwood should be too good for the Western Bulldogs anyway because the Bulldogs have a lot of injuries. And Collingwood are coming off that absolute belting of a win against Port Adelaide. So I think Collingwood would get the victory here. Moving on to Saturday afternoon, we have Essendon taking on Adelaide at the MCG. I'm going to tipping Essendon in this one by 10 points. Adelaide looked really good last week against St Kilda, absolutely annihilated them. Whereas Essendon got severely robbed against Hawthorn last week by the umpires and the match fixing. So this one will be interesting. Adelaide in some really good form. Essendon pissed off after getting massively robbed. Essendon do tend to start seasons off pretty well. So that's why I'm tipping Essendon by 10 points to win this one. I can easily see the Crows getting up in this one, but I just think Essendon at home, tipping the home team in a sort of 50-50 game is always the way to go. Moving on to Saturday twilight, we have Port Adelaide taking on Richmond at the Adelaide Oval. I'm going to be tipping Port Adelaide in this one by 21 points. So Richmond got a really good win against Carlton last week, whereas Port Adelaide got absolutely annihilated against Collingwood. Now, I can easily see Richmond going to Adelaide and taking over the Adelaide Oval and getting the win. But due to match fixing and all that sort of thing, it's a little bit too risky to tip Richmond. And I feel like Paul will be pretty keen to respond. And it's in Adelaide, so yeah, you just got to go the home team in this. I think if the game was at MCG, I probably would have tipped Richmond, but because it's in Adelaide, just got to go with the safe option and tip Port in this one. Moving on to Saturday night, we have St Kilda taking on Geelong at Marvel Stadium. I'm going to be tipping Geelong in this one by a rigged amount. So Geelong, it's pretty obvious that they're going to be severely protected this year if you watch the Geelong and Fremantle game. Fremantle were massively robbed in that game. So I'm sure Geelong will be severely protected in this one. And St Kilda just got annihilated, so they're in some bad form. So I think Geelong will win this one with the help of the umpires. Moving on to Sunday afternoon, we have Brisbane taking on West Coast at the Gabba. I'm going to Brisbane in this one by 116 points. West Coast are a joke. They're a disgrace. I mean, they lost by 87 points at home against fucking Gold Coast. So, do you really think they're going to do any better against Brisbane at the Gabba? Not a chance. This will be a 100 plus point annihilation. West Coast are dog shit. And yeah, Brisbane, they'll be protected by the match fixing, so expect this one to be a massive annihilation. A absolute belting. Moving on to the other Sunday afternoon game, we have North Melbourne taking on Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. I'm going to be tipping Melbourne in this one by 25 points. Mainly because Melbourne played pretty well last week against GWS. At the same time, Melbourne were protected by the match fixing in that game. It is at Marvel, so that gives North a chance, but North, other than that, are a pretty shit team. So I just think Melbourne, they should be too good for North, and Melbourne have started the season off in some good form, so I feel more comfortable tipping Melbourne than I do North Melbourne. So I guess we'll wait and see on that one. Moving on to Sunday night, we have Fremantle taking on Sydney at Optus Stadium. Going to Fremantle in this one by 14 points. I guess I'm just tipping the home team in this one. So Fremantle got severely robbed last week against Geelong, and Sydney got severely robbed last week against Brisbane, and they were robbed against Hawthorn as well. So two teams that have been severely robbed so far this year, going at it. So this should be a pretty close game, but because it is in Perth, I think you just got to tip the home team. It's just the safer option. Usually the home teams win anyway. So just go the home team and you'll be all good most of the time. So yeah, I guess those are my tips for round 2 of the 2025 AFL season. Feel free to leave your tips in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment like this. Be sure to become a channel member. Just click the join button next to my name. Also be sure to subscribe to my Premier Kicking Goals with Nick. Link to his channels in the description. Also be sure to subscribe to my other YouTube channels. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast channel, King Snakes and Stoody. Also be sure to subscribe to my second YouTube channel, Stoody Archives. Links to both those are in the description. Also be sure to join my Discord server, East Coast Australian Sports Community. Link to that is in the description. Also be sure to follow me on my other social media accounts. I have Twitter and also have TikTok. These are for all those Stoody YT. Links to all those will also be in the description. I hope you had a good day, and I'll see you all in the next video.